They're starting to grow meat in the lab. Does that interest you, or does that sound revolting? Also, what's the worst food for beards? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Menu Podcast, which is a food news podcast. It is a podcast about food that is newsworthy and news that is food-worthy. My name is Dave Huff, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Josh Elkin. Josh, how are you?
What's up, Dave? How are you today?
I'm doing so splendidly well.
Dave, are you ready to jump into a big bowl of delicious food news?
Some delectable food news. Oh boy, I can't wait. We've got some great topics to discuss. As always, this podcast is streaming live on twitch.tv/liquorsauce. You can also see the video on demand at youtube.com/thejoshelkin, or you can listen with your ear holes at soundcloud.com/themenupodcast. It's also on iTunes, but I don't really know what the URL is, so I'm just going to leave it.
You could just search the Menu Podcast in the iTunes store, and
it should show up. It should show up, and it's free. It's all free. That's the best part about food news, is it's free. We don't charge you for it.
That was the best part.
It's not like a newspaper where you have to pay like 69 cents for the newspaper article.
The heck is a newspaper?
I know. So, Josh, how have you been this past week?
I've been excellent, Dave. Working hard, a lot of food, a lot of cooking, a lot of consuming, but nevertheless, always a good time on Wednesdays when we film this live. So happy Wednesday to you, bro.
Live. It's a good Wednesday. Actually, it's a miserable Wednesday outside. Terrible weather. I'm glad to be indoors and talking about food so I don't have to pretend that it's nice outside.
I hear that.
So you ready to dive in or what?
Yeah, let's dive right into this here lineup that we got going on. Wendys is savage.
Dude, Wendys is back in the news, and we're talking about Wendys again, but this is a good reason for it. Yeah. Wendys got into a scuffle with Hardee's. Now, it's important to know that Hardee's, not Harvey's, Harvey's is a Canadian burger chain. Hardee's is the East Coast counterpart to Carl's Jr., which I didn't know until pretty recently. They got into a good old-fashioned scuffle, and Wendy once again walked away the victor.
Yeah, they got into a good old-fashioned, new-fashioned social media battle over Twitter, over the Twittersphere. So what happened was, Dave, is the internet's a beautiful thing, and mostly because this day and age, being these fictional characters of Wendy's and Hardee's and other fast food chains actually have people behind them running their social media. So, it's interesting to me because Wendy has become a savage of a person. Right? So what happened is Wendy's has a 4 for $4 deal where it's 4 items for $4, America. And
that's so America. I want that in Canada. I kind of wish Canada had that. Go ahead, continue, please. Sorry.
That's a crazy thing. Canada's just so much more expensive, anyways. And then some dude hits up Wendy's, is like, Wendy's 4 for $4 deal. 4 for $4 is a deal. And then someone hits that guy and be like, yeah, but Hardee's 4 for $4 is 10 times better. And then Hardee's came in and was like, amen to that.
It was it's less of it was an opening jab. That's Hardee's with an opening jab in the boxing match.
Yeah, they started it basically. And then the conversation continues to go on. This guy at Phelps_Ryan was like, see, staff, Hardee's knows you get a burger, you get a chicken sandwich, a drink, and fries, 4 items, for $4. Way better than Wendy's. Then next dude, Joey Stefileno, a.k.a.
the original dude,
Staff15.
The guy who started this off.
Yeah. Was like, okay, well, let's see how at Wendy's feels about that. Which 4 is better? And then Wendy's comes in
with the right hook.
And was like, we usually prefer the original to a knockoff, but hey, you do you. Like, that's throwing shots.
And then Hardee's with a left hook, but might I add, a little bit of a miss.
Yeah, like they snuffed him. Just because you were first doesn't mean you were the best. And then Wendy's comes in with an uppercut.
And this is truthfully like the knockout punch.
This is the knockout punch. Wendy's, tell us who the 4th person to walk on the moon was without Googling it. Ooh!
Oh! Go to bed! And then they got blocked by Hardee's.
Yeah, and then shortly after that, Wendy's responds, "LOL, they blocked us." Like, come on, Hardee's, how are you gonna give up so quickly?
And how are you gonna block one of your big competitors? It looks like you're shook.
It really does. And then, you know, if I'm reading this and then all of a sudden I'm faced with Wendy's on the left and Hardee's on the right, there's no chance I'm going into Hardee's because they obviously can't stick up for themselves. You know, really dropping the ball there, Hardee's, aka Carl.
I just find, and if you're Hardee or Carl, and you're the one that runs these social media accounts, I think that you should have at least done the slightest bit of research on who your opponent is when you're getting ready to step in the ring with a tough motherfucker like Wendy.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
She will put you in the dirt, and people know this. She's been all over the news, at least the food news lately.
Yeah,
for cutting people down. Also, nugs for Carter. We talked about it last week. Like savage, Wendy hits back with 18 million retweets on that one. You know, this is not a lightweight. You know, this isn't just you can't just hit with just because you're first doesn't mean you're best. I'm sorry.
Like that way to go, like playground. First is the worst, second is the best. Like, come on, Hardee's. What are you doing? I lost total respect for you. But beyond that, Dave, like the person who's running Wendy's social media clearly knows what's up.
Needs a raise. That person needs a raise, a promotion. If that person isn't already the vice president of social media for Wendy's, that person needs to be made the vice president of social media for Wendy's, because that is an incredible job working that account. Fantastic. Yeah,
you know what I like? You know what I like about it, Dave? I like that, like, there's an actual pulse on that social media person. It's not just like a spam account where they're just promoting their promotions.
No, I like to believe it's Wendy.
I
like to believe that. Yeah, it is the reincarnation, if you will, of Dave Thomas. Almost the spirit of Dave Thomas, channeled through this one individual who runs these accounts. Like, he knows what Dave would have done. What would Dave do? I miss
Uncle Dave. I miss him a lot.
Is it safe to say that Dave Thomas, greatest Dave of all time? Yeah, just think about that. Let that roll around in your brain for a bit. I'm pretty sure.
I'd say David and Goliath is probably the best.
No, he was a David. Don't ever confuse a David with a Dave. Dave Thomas.
You should know. I mean, sometimes you're Dave, sometimes you're David. Depends on who you're talking to.
I have a serious identity crisis because on social media I'm David, but anybody that talks to me calls me Dave, and I just don't know what I want to be, because typically Daves are shit, and statistically Davids are heroes. So, and that's real deal stats from history. But
that's
Dave Thomas,
by the way,
that's why Dave Thomas is the best Dave, because first of all, it's not really a contest, but second of all, most Daves, the bar is really low. Anyways, it's enough self-deprecation for one podcast. I'm just saying, somebody give this Wendy account a raise.
Yeah. Shout out to Wendy's social media accounts. Just like full out recreating the way companies should run social media accounts. You know,
at least fast food restaurants, by giving it. I think you're right. Social media accounts, by giving it personality. By making people feel connected, and once again. Here we are talking about Wendy's. I want a Wendy's burger, like desperately,
dude.
If we could just touch on it, Wendy's versus Hardee's. Is it even a competition?
Here's the thing: I've had infinitely more Wendy's in my life than Hardee's and Carl's Jr. combined. Actually, I've
never had Hardee's. Carl's Jr. I've only ever had Carl's. I've never had Hardee's.
The last time I had Carl's Jr. was 4 years ago, and the only reason I did it is because someone handed me a booklet of coupons. And I was like, oh, you mean I could take this coupon and go to Carl's Jr. and not even give them money and just give them the coupon and get a guacamole burger? And that's what I did. I got a guacamole burger.
Oh, my God. Yeah, no, I'm not even down. Honestly, I don't even think it's a competition. I think Wendy's is in like the realm of McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC, Burger King. Even though I don't like Burger King as much as them, these are the top dogs. These are top dogs. Hardee's, Carl's Jr., in my opinion, that's second tier.
They could chill with the Jack in the Boxes of the world.
That's second tier fast food restaurant right there. And I'm not down.
I just think it's like a league below. It's not second tier. It's just like it's the minors.
And there you go. There you are again, Hardee's and Carl's Jr. getting outclassed by Wendys. Way to go.
Outclassed.
So moving on to our next topic is another interesting little point of discussion here, Josh.
It's related, actually.
Oh, wait. Before we move on to the next actual topic, let's just go real quick and touch on what happened with regards to our boy Carter from last week. We discussed our boy Carter, and he threw down the gauntlet trying to get Wendy to give him lifetime supply of chicken nuggets. Actually, it wasn't even a lifetime. It was a 1 year supply of chicken nuggets.
1 year, which, like, I'm about to give this guy 4 Gs for a lifetime just to get on the board, you know?
Yeah. Well, considering he's challenging the most retweeted tweet of all time, Ellen DeGeneres and her friggin' Oscar tweet there, picture, selfie, Carter was invited to be on Ellen, I think so she could try and murder him? So that
I think it was a ploy. It was a ploy by Ellen to be like, yo, look how sick I am.
You could get
I'm taking
the
this
best
kid
tweet.
and I'm changing his life.
You
could
get the
Wendy's?
best tweet ever. See, and it's smart. Here's what she did. Ellen invited Carter onto the show to talk about this, to be like, yo, look at us. We're so sick. We both have one of the most retweeted things ever, and you're very quickly approaching my stats and probably going to surpass it at this rate. I like Ellen walking in and being like, now every single retweet that he gets is shared with me because I had him on my show. It's kind of like... You know, when LeBron James went and joined the super team so they can win?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So wait, did Carter just become a villain? Is he Batman?
No, Ellen's the villain. Ellen's the villain.
Yeah, Ellen's been a villain.
Ellen's the villain, and Carter's really, he's getting the short end of the stick here, because if he somehow makes it to the 18 million retweets, Ellen can turn around and be like, hey, but you owe me half those nuggets.
Right?
Which would be filthy.
But then Wendy's went ahead and said that if this does happen, they will donate $100,000 to a food charity, which I think is pretty cool on Wendy's. Again, Wendy's just dropping the mic, you know?
Wendy's is the greatest fast food company of all time.
They really are.
Wendy's burgers for dinner again.
They really are. Like, this is just a lesson to all companies out there that have no idea how to run social media. Doesn't matter what your food tastes like, clearly. It matters how many retweets you can get.
I would also like to add that this podcast here is not sponsored by Wendy's in any way.
Not yet.
But I'll also say that, you know, if they wanted to hit us up, we're down to talk about them all the time. Actually, no, they're too smart for that. They know we talk about them anyways. They're never going to give us a cent because they know we're going to keep talking about them because we're such big fanboys.
That's what I'm saying. I love Wendy's. Anyways, moving right along. Good luck to Carter. Right now, just to give you guys all a heads up, his tweet is at 3.2 million retweets, 100,000 away from tying Ellen. I think it's safe to say this is going to become the most retweeted tweet of all time because Ellen's tweet was 2 or 3 years ago.
But he's not even going to come close to the 18 mil because
no, that'll never happen.
There aren't even that many people on Twitter anymore.
No.
Maybe at one point there was.
If it was Ashton Kutcher, maybe. Shots fired.
Remember when Ashton Kutcher was trying to be the best person at Twitter ever, and he was challenging I think it was CNN. It was Ashton Kutcher versus CNN to be the best Twitterer, and he won. But even then, I don't think he could have gotten 18 million retweets, and that was at the peak of Twitter.
Yeah, you're right about that. I'm down with Kutcher, by the way. I like him.
Yeah, big fan. Always have been.
Never met him, but I imagine we'd be friends.
Yeah, I like to think about the times that I haven't shared with Ashton Kutcher. Maybe one day. So moving on to Ikea now. Ikea has been in the food news before. We've talked about them and their delicious meatballs.
Yep.
Those Swedish meatballs and the ice cream cones that they make, the soft serve. If you're chasing your Swedish meatballs with a soft serve, you're doing it right. And not even buying furniture. And nowadays, or maybe even coming soon to a neighborhood near you, you don't even need to go shopping or pretend to go shopping for furniture.
Which is such a relief because, as I've expressed before, and I'm sure you could relate to it, going to Ikea is a very stressful thing. Not the act of going there, but once you get into the Ikea labyrinth, it's extremely hard to get out.
Yeah, it's really, they try and trap you. And And like, even if you don't really want, like, I remember I went there once for like a lamp. Big mistake.
Bad idea.
Big mistake. You walk out with like 6 or 7 different things, and that's mostly because you have to. The way IKEA works is you have to buy your way out of IKEA. You can't just leave. You can't just leave. And the light at the end of the tunnel is usually their little IKEA cafe. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? IKEA is taking it to the standalone cafe market. They are going to join the likes of Wendys and Hardee's for a standalone fast food restaurant where they will serve those delicious Swedish meatballs and soft serve ice cream cones all by themselves.
Now, the question is, like, are they going to have, is it going to just be that? Like, first of all, I just want to say an ice cream shop / meatball store is a sick move.
It doesn't exist.
No. Way to like really change the game. But I like IKEA for the breakfast. So like, where's that? Is it going to be like from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. you'll get breakfast, and from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. you'll get meatballs and ice cream?
No, it's just it's just meatballs. It's meatballs all the time. They serve meatballs, they serve slices of pizza, and they serve soft serve ice cream. That's it. Yeah. And they have fountain soda. Well, but no, I guess that is the question. Would they end up expanding their menu? I don't think you jump into the restaurant game without somewhat of an intention to change your menu as time goes on, because as we all know, restaurants, they tend to get stale. You know, that's just the way of things. So
I mean, but not IKEA.
But not IKEA. Well, no, but they don't have to. You know, same thing like Costco. They don't have to if they don't want to. They could stay as is because it's classic, and because they are. There's more to the store to begin with. So they don't have to change anything. I'm saying Costco and IKEA. Like, you don't go to Costco and IKEA. I mean, we do because we're sickos. But the majority of the public does not go to Costco for lunch or IKEA for lunch. They go for the other products that they sell, and then they end up staying for lunch. So as of right now, they don't really think on the regs about changing their menu. But if they were to open a brick and mortar restaurant, they would have no choice.
Yes, if they opened up a brick and morty, they would. They would definitely.
They would have no choice. They have no choice. But of course I did. I didn't want to address it because it was such a good one. I just wanted to let you have it. But now we're talking about it, so now everybody can go and refer to, pop-up shops for any new. It's a brick and morty restaurant.
I have to say, Dave, I definitely go to places solely for the food. Like, I don't know the last time I went to Costco and
didn't get a hot dog.
And got something other than a hot dog.
Oh, like you actually went the last time you went to Costco and went shopping. You pay $50 a year so you could have hot dogs.
You don't even need to do that. Incredible. Though. That's the thing. You don't even need a membership.
Right. You sneak in without the membership. I'd like to get a little counter going. How many days has it been since Josh has not ordered a hot dog for delivery? Because we challenged you and you still haven't done it yet. You got to get on there and order yourself a delivery hot dog from Costco.
I know.
And you need to do it at a really cool event. I'm telling you, you'll be the life of the party. If you order everybody hot dogs from Costco, you're the life of the party.
This weekend is the Food Beasts Meat Street Festival. Should I do it there?
Bring your own dogs, dude. We even talked about it with Eli. You got to do it.
I know. I have to see if there's a Costco in the area where the festival is, because I feel like that's a big
It'll be the determining factor whether or not you can get it. How close are you to the Costco? Please just make it happen. You know what I mean? Either way, I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with IKEA. Good for them for trying something. This is like really out of the box. An IKEA cafe is really, I understand that they have the restaurants in their locations, but IKEA is very much like that big blue box that sells furniture. And they happen to offer you a snack as part of the whole process. But for the most part, they aren't synonymous with food. I would love to see them become a household name for food. I think that would be both hilarious and really quite the story.
I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
Good on you, IKEA. I'm down. Yeah. I'll try it. I'll bite.
Best of luck. Best of luck, IKEA. Mm-hmm. That brings us to our next topic, Josh, which is vegetarians and vegans is how I have it written out here. But what we really want to talk about is this here study that Food Beast was talking about. Turns out a vast majority of non-meat eaters eventually revert back to eating meat. Does that make you happy or sad?
I think I'm a little conflicted because on one hand, I'm happy to take back the community. On the other hand, I'm mad because now there's less for us.
There's less for us.
Right?
I'm kind of torn. Like, my natural instinct has always been to question or attack the integrity of a vegan/vegetarian. And not for any particular reason other than they just do something that's different than what I do. And that's not the right way to look at anything in life.
No, it's not.
A lot of vegans or vegetarians who have always claimed, oh, I'm going to do it for health reasons. I've always thought, I feel like there's ways that you could be healthy while still eating meat. The people that say, I don't want to eat meat because of environmental reasons or the poor treatment of animals, I've respected that. That's always been my biggest internal struggle. And I suppose that kind of highlights the fact that I'm not really in a position to criticize people because about integrity, because I've never been willing to forego the eating of meat in order to defend something that I believe, which is the mistreatment of animals being a bad thing. But I can't help but critique people's integrity by seeing that 85 or 84% of them reverting back.
Now, I guess the question here is, what are their intentions originally? You know, like, are they doing it because of their love of animals? Are they doing it because they feel like they aren't getting the nutrients in the type of meat that they're eating, or are they doing it just for a trend? And if so, any of those reasons, why then just be like, nah, I'm over it. I'm out.
So
Peace.
It says
and
the majority of the people that switched did it for health reasons, and that wasn't enough to stay vegan or vegetarian.
Meaning what? Like they weren't getting the health benefits that they had once thought would come?
Or they did, and they just didn't feel like it was enough incentive to want to keep it going.
Uh-huh. Incentive, meaning what? The health benefits is the incentive, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they were never in it for saving the animals or the environment, which I feel like that's like a big part of it. If you're going to do it for the selfless reason. The environment and the animals. If you do it for the selfish reason, nothing good ever comes out of being selfish. No. That's the whole point. They don't call it the gift of taking. Call it the gift of giving.
Gift of giving lives back to people. I mean, I heard a really interesting quote about eating meat yesterday, ironically enough, and it was, if you can't stomach killing an animal or seeing an animal be killed, then you shouldn't stomach an animal.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like if you can't, and you know my thoughts on this, Dave. You know the way I feel about killing animals. I want to. Which means I'm good.
Just thinking how messed up of a thing that is to say. Be more specific. I'd like to hunt my own meal. Yes. Okay,
yeah,
not just like
a malicious person.
I'm looking to kill some animals. Anybody know where I could find some animals to kill? No, you're trying to hunt your own food.
Yeah, I fully believe that I would be able to hunt an animal and kill it, which means like slice its throat, bleed it, gut it, skin it, and cook it.
But treat it with respect. Treat it with respect.
100%. The days of disrespecting meat for me is way over.
It's gone.
It's gone. And it's just an interesting thing because I am not a vegetarian nor a vegan. However, I love eating vegetarian and vegan food just as much as I love eating regular carnivorous food.
But that's because you appreciate You appreciate food. You won't ever shy away from a meal or a recipe just because it contains certain ingredients or something that isn't the norm for you. And I like to think that I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I won't go out of my way to hunt down a vegan meal, but if somebody was to serve me a vegan meal, which has happened in the past, or I've gone to a vegan restaurant and been suggested something, I'll try it for sure, and oftentimes I enjoy it. So I totally respect being vegan, and I totally respect the idea, and I definitely respect the cuisine. I just think if you're gonna do something, go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to criticize anyone for the choices that they make. If someone decides that they want to be a vegetarian and then a month later they're like, not for me, that's cool. I get it.
Right. I guess it's still them being true to themselves.
Yeah, But I don't know, man. It's a really interesting debate because, like, are those people that are like giving up just not? Is it just not?
It's not for them. They just like meat too much, and I think that's the testament to this whole topic, is the fact that meat is just awesome.
Yeah, meat is just awesome.
It rules. It rules.
I find it very interesting that the stat in this article, shout out to Food Beast again, says that 58% of people who stated that they were the study suggested that health as the only motivator, so just talking about health to a vegetarian or vegan wasn't enough, which I find very interesting. And I feel like those people maybe just didn't have enough options.
They like the flavor, they like the taste, they like to enjoy the meat more than they like the health benefits of being vegan. So to the point that you were just about to bring up, sounds to me like they didn't have enough options for vegan food that really tickled their fancy the same way.
Yeah.
The same way.
Dude, I made a fully vegan In-N-Out burger combo, and I have to tell you, it was amazing. It was delicious.
I made it. Sorry, go on. No, you first.
I made it for my buddy Julian, who you know, and he's a full vegan, and he's a recent vegan. I mean, a year ago we were eating chicken wings together, but he was loving it. So I mean, it's really all depends, I think, geographically. I imagine that, like, in Middle America, like, I don't know,
Boise, Idaho,
they have a lot less vegetarian, vegan options than, let's say, Southern California does.
I think that's probably very correct.
So I get it. What do what do you do? Is it if you can't eat something different, if there's like a lack of options, what do? You probably revert back to what you're used to. That's something that'll give you more life. Like, you've done diets before, diets where it makes you kind of feel weird in a different way, but then you get past this threshold.
Yeah, you get over the hump.
You get regulated, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the situation here. Maybe people just aren't giving it enough of a chance. I don't know.
Quitters.
Yeah.
Quitters.
I never quit in my life.
No, you don't quit. You stick with it. That's the whole point of life, is you never give up. Persistence, perseverance.
Perseverance, Dave.
Well, that takes us to our next topic, which is very well related, because the problem may be solved for us. Now, if you were the kind of person who was a vegetarian or a vegan just because you didn't like the flavor, you don't like the texture, meat doesn't sit well with you, I think that, then veganism, vegetarianism is for you. And don't ever change your ways. But for those of us that are changing or considering changing or toying with the idea of veganism, vegetarianism, is veganism a real thing?
It is
that a real word? If you're toying with it on account of the environmental benefits or the treatment of animals, mistreatment of animals, well, then guess what? There's a revolution taking place.
Options
revolution.
Options are coming to fruition, everybody.
So lab-grown meat is a real thing. And soon enough, 3D printed food is going to be a real thing. Which, let me tell you, is maybe the most exciting thing technologically. It might be the most exciting. The thing I'm excited for, like, 3 technological advancements for human beings. The Hyperloop, going to Mars, and 3D printed food. These are the things that I am the most fired up and passionate about in my life right now, technology-wise. Virtual reality is like a distant fourth, or like augmented reality, distant fourth.
What was that
Those
first thing you talked about, by the way? What was that loop?
The Hyperloop?
Yeah, what is that?
It's Elon Musk's public transportation system. It's just going to change the way. It's going to get you from San Francisco to Los Angeles in 30 minutes.
Got it. I know that.
And that's going to change. That's going to change everything. Anyways, point is, science is making it so that we won't even have to kill animals anymore. There will be the people that will want to hunt for sport, that will want to want that connection to their food, and I get that, but soon enough, you're just going to be able to grow meat in a lab. In fact, it already is possible. It's just not, like economically viable or ready for the masses yet, because it's still very expensive to do. I remember about a year ago, I saw an article, or a video rather, that was doing the rounds. It was a big presentation. It was a company and a doctor in particular that had made a beef patty from meat cultures that were grown in a lab. And he fried this burger up in a pan, and he dressed it like a normal burger, and he ate it, and according to this man, the flavor was exact. Cool, right?
Yeah. Continue.
It was $1,000 for the burger patty at the time. Because the technology was so new and they just haven't really advanced that well yet, you know that as time goes on, that cost is going to get cheaper. Well, it turns out that it already is, and now there are organizations, lobbying organizations, that are developing that are undertaking the challenge of making lab-grown food, 3D printed food, plant-based 3D printed food a reality, so that we won't even need to kill the animals, to mass produce certain foods. All you'll do is get yourself a little box that goes in your house, and it'll have a little computer on it. You'll press the buttons, you'll be like, pizza. And it's just going to make you a slice of pizza, or as many slices of pizza as you want. And you're going to put fuel into it like you would put ink in a printer. And you'll have burgers. You'll have pepperoni pizzas. You'll have whatever your favorite food is. Now, I'm simplifying it, and I'm definitely making it sound like, it's already there. It is not. The technology is not there yet, but it's starting to happen. How do you feel about it, Josh?
I think it's really, really interesting. I think that with all new things, there will be an extreme learning curve.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, mentally, to get past the fact that this is basically a test tube animal. I'm okay with it. Personally.
But it's not. No. It's not a real animal. It's not. There's no life. There's no life.
No,
there.
I know. No, I know. I mean,
it's not like we're making like a clone and we're killing it. It's not like we're making. This is just the meat. Like you're getting. Like if you want the beef, you want a ground beef. You're getting ground beef. I'm going to show a picture of it for the people that are watching.
Show a picture of that. It's really, really cool. Basically, the picture is it's a beacon. It's like a little beacon. No, what is it? A little ramekin plastic test tube science.
What do you call this stupid science thing?
And it looks like
this is a petri dish.
Right, and it looks like like a culture dish, like a culture test
petri dish.
Right?
It's called petri dish.
Yes, that too. And it looks exactly like ground beef on the inside of it. Meat and beef together is meat, by the way. And
I would eat that.
I would totally eat that too. The best part about this, Dave, is that you would actually just be able to take it right out of there, and it's already molded into a burger. It's
already made in a patty because it's in a petri dish. It's already a little puck ready to be a patty.
Do you even think that they knew that? They definitely didn't even know that.
No, but you would want to take this out, and you would want to season it a little bit, probably, right? Probably. I think it's a brilliant I think that this is like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me because people have always complained, and rightly so, about the mistreatment of animals, how much the beef industry, how much methane is a byproduct, all of the farmlands that are being converted into beef and cattle feed, and how much is being spent on trying to just sustain this industry. And then how they're treated, the way they're herded around and murdered. Meat is murder, and I've always been okay with it. But if I was given the option to have meat minus the murder, I mean, shit. It's cool, man.
No, I get it. And
if people are worried about like the flavor, they're worried about like, oh, well, it's never going to taste as good because it never had a soul, or it didn't shed tears when you killed it. Like, you're going to be able to season the meat. You're going to be able to do whatever you need to do to make it as delicious of a burger as you normally make it.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. See, what happens to all those like farmers and all the people that actually like farm meat? And what about like fresh,
Well,
not caged animals and like organic
yeah,
meats?
yeah.
Is that whole industry going to be evaporated, or by the time this gets to production, are those things already going to be done? And we're
Well, I
going to
can
be
tell you
looking
what
at
I'd
some.
hope.
Yeah.
I'd hope that those organic, freshly grown, or the really specific
Meats?
companies or vendors of these products, they will cater to the people who are still looking to get their hands on the original product, and that's fine. But I would think that the major meat industries are going to be the largest obstacle to overcome in terms of making this widespread, making lab grown meat, 3D printed food products, making them widespread it's going to be hard because of regulations and whatever else that these industries are going to lobby for. Because if there's one thing we know about corporations, they are damn good at lobbying to protect their interests.
The best thing one of these lobbyists could do is get in front of it and start developing it on them like themselves. That's the best thing they could do.
Yeah.
You know, can't beat them, join them. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Unless it's really bad, then just don't join them. Then just you got to beat them. But this isn't that bad. This is good for the environment. It's good for everybody.
I think this is good for the environment. I think this is good for everybody.
I would have
I think
it.
that this is just brilliant. And honestly, this is the final point I want to say. I can't wait to try it. I cannot wait to see what this is all about.
Totally agree with that.
Like now, please. Like now. Hook me up now. I want a 3D printer in my house that I could walk up to and be like cheeseburger now.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen a 3D printer in action?
Now. Yes, I have. It's crazy. It takes time.
It takes time.
Takes time, but it'll get there. Think about the original like actual printers for your computer. Like dot matrix used to take a long ass time for it to print out a really bad looking piece of paper. But now think of where we've come.
You know what's crazy
lasers,
about dot matrix?
Lasers. What's that?
Dot matrix sounds way more futuristic than it is.
Oh, absolutely. You add the word matrix into anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would take a burger matrix machine. Burger matrix printer. I would definitely
just to correct you for a second, Dave. I believe that the 3D pizza maker is already a thing for real.
No, I know it is. They exist. It all exists. It's just not. There's not enough people making them. The parts aren't cheap enough. The materials to produce the pizza, like the ink, essentially the printer ink, is not cheap enough yet for us to have them in our homes. Like just for everybody to have them in our homes.
Just like original printers, you know? Dude, or like even original computers. Shit was way too expensive.
They're going to solve world hunger. When everybody can have a printer, a food printer, the way everybody can afford a computer printer, they're going to solve world hunger. That's cool, man.
Yeah. HP, guaranteed they start becoming a food company real soon.
HP. Hewlett Packard. What was the other one? Lexmark.
Lexmark's still a thing.
They're still doing it.
They kill it.
Don't threaten Josh with some good printer trivia.
Listen,
Josh, you
wanted to learn about printers. I got you.
You left the printer game before things got exciting. You know what? This might be the opportunity for you to step back into the printer game.
Get back in.
Like it's no time like the present. You're a food personality on the internet. You have a food brand, a recognizable food brand. You should tie it back into the printer game. It's time.
I left that life behind me. With a lot of other...
look. You can look back sometimes, Josh. You don't always have to be looking for. You don't always have to be looking for.
Food
This brings us to our next topic here, folks, which is
very important.
It's not really news. This is like one of the first times we're not really talking about news. It's more just a discussion. We could just have an open discussion here. This is an article that we read on Thrillist, which is talking about beards and what it's like to eat food with beards.
Yeah.
And they dive into what they think are the worst foods to eat with beards.
There's something just noteworthy here is it's not like what you and I would think about eating with beards. It's according to women what it's like for guys to eat food with a beard, which is really interesting because personally, and I'm sure you agree with this, like whatever, food in the beard, okay, no big deal.
I mean, it sucks. It definitely sucks. Food in the beard definitely is not fun, but I think that it might be more unpleasant for a woman because, like, if you're assuming that it's because like of getting close to a man, but I mean, you know, for any couple where one person in the couple has a beard, food could be really troubling.
What's your least favorite thing about eating food with a beard?
What's my least favorite thing about eating food with a beard?
I know what mine
is the beard acting like a bit of a napkin, almost like a bib.
Okay. That sucks, definitely.
Well, there's always something getting into my beard. I'm so bad at it. I am so bad at it.
There's two things that I hate about having a beard and eating food. The first thing is I have a very, very sensitive sense of smell.
Oh, you're such a sensitive guy, Josh.
I mean, Dave, come on now. But my favorite thing is having, let's say I ate a cheeseburger or something, and then you get like cheese on your beard, and you think you got the cheese off, but then it smells like cheese for the rest of the day.
You get that burger scent later. Yeah, you got to go wash your face. You got to go give your beard a scrub. I oftentimes after I eat pizza, and so this is what I wanted to discuss. What are our least favorite things to eat with a beard? And I'll start it off that like I love pizza so much, so much, but when I have pizza, the cheesy oil drip that is without a doubt getting into my beard 100% of the time will stay with me the rest of the day if I don't wash it.
Yeah.
And that smell, that like old pizza cheese smell, oil smell is one of the worst.
It really is.
Like I've caught whiffs of it like an hour later and like physically, like I've become physically ill. Like fully sick to my stomach,
I'm like queasy.
Like I hate cheese, and this is probably the biggest downside to a beard. You know, remember that article a while back that was talking about how beards are like so much dirtier than people think? They've got like fecal matter and all these other things in it. Like,
sure.
When I think about cheese pizza after eating cheese pizza, I think about my beard after eating cheese pizza. I believe that article. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, as a beard, I mean, you've had a beard for quite some time, far longer than I have. But I haven't even hit 5 years with a beard. But I agree with that. My second, and I'm sure you can agree with this one, is when you get something that's like, let's say, wet in your beard, like a sauce of some sort, and then you don't know it's there, and it hardens.
Yeah,
and then you try and get it out, but you're ripping your hair. It's like gum getting stuck in your hair, but it's your beard.
It's bad news.
That sucks too. That's real sucky.
Yeah. Losing a couple of beard hairs?
Yeah, so this article on Thrillist, which basically talks about it's two big burly bearded men and a woman who talks about what she thinks about food and beards, and they go on to talk about different specific foods that get caught in beards. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first the first topic that they talk about is powdered donuts, and we can stretch that to anything that has, you know, flour or powdered sugar on it. And it says they tried, you know, the little baby powdered donuts.
Yep.
Right. And then they also tried the ones with the holes in it. They tried jelly filled ones. And they said their biggest takeaway here is that they need to eat the donuts more frequently because they're truly exquisite, but they can't because of all that stuff.
They said that the mustache acts like a Swiffer sweeper, which I can totally understand and relate to. I think a powdered donut is worse for the mustache than it is for the beard because there's less falling, but the mustache has there's no way to avoid it rubbing across the donut's surface. I
mean, it depends on how thick your mustache is, because personally for me, when I'm eating a donut, it's especially one of those small little Hostess ones, that's a one-biter for me. That's going right in. I'm getting no mess.
No, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So if you're not one-shotting those, you got to rethink your life.
That's what I'm saying. So I think this specific example, it's like you guys are doing it wrong. Sorry.
For me, the worst things, egg yolk.
Yeah.
Egg yolk just always seems to get stuck in there. And like the thing about it, and hardens. And like the thing is, like sometimes I could miss it with the napkin. And like it'll be later. It'll be like maybe like an hour later, and I'll be like giving like a little scratch at the beard, and I'll be like, "What the? What is?" And like there's something like really crusty and hard in there. I'm like, "What is that?" And it's egg yolk. And for a moment, you stop and you think about your life, and you think about what brought you to this point, and you wonder whether or not it's all worth it. And then you realize that it's just egg yolk, so you move on. But for that one moment of complete desperation and sadness, egg yolk gets the best of you. And the same thing, it's very similar without the same drippiness or crustiness, cereal. The milk, that milk gets... if I have a bowl of cereal, 100% of the time, milk is getting in the beard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's weird when it gets in there. And then milk on the beard, it starts getting sour and it smells.
Isn't it weird how like milk touches the beard and it immediately becomes warm?
Yeah, that is
it's
weird.
Cold in the bowl.
Dispersing.
It's cold in the bowl, but the minute it touches the beard, it gets real warm.
Anything naturally dirty, not dirty, that's a wrong word. Anything naturally messy when it comes to food is never going to lend itself well to having a beard.
To a beard, no.
For example, chicken wings, they talk about as well, being a very bad beard-friendly food, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine like, I really want wings right now. Imagine a delicious chicken wing sauced up to perfection.
Yeah, that's ruining your beard.
You're eating it, you're already making a mess, and it's going to get everywhere. Not only are you going to get sauce caught in your beard, but it's sticky. You're going to have little chunks of chicken.
Yeah.
Like,
what's the worst? What is the worst thing for you that you get in your beard? What is the thing that gets you the most?
Pasta.
Saucy pasta. Absolutely.
A sauce pasta.
Especially if you go long noodle.
Yeah.
A noodle soup, like a ramen soup, that'll get you too, because the long noodle hits that bottom of the beard, wraps its way like underneath your chin, and brings its way up. It's touching. There's a lot of contact there.
Yeah, and then you start feeling a drip on your Adam's apple. You're like, what the heck is this? You're like, oh, it was the ramen.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think one of the worst things for me is a bagel with cream cheese. That'll get me. The cream cheese.
Whew. The seeds on the bagel.
The seeds on the bagel getting lost, and the cream cheese just getting like the cream cheese in the mustache is a real thing, a very very real thing.
Also hardens and gets terribly uncomfortable.
But probably maybe the actual worst thing. And I just see it. Reading this article now, I see this as well, and it made me realize that I don't eat enough of this, but when I do, ice cream in a cone. That's devastation.
It's another milk product that just probably doesn't lend itself well to your beard.
Milk and cheese products, they are the arch nemesis.
It's safe to say that all dairy products are probably terrible for your beard.
Arch nemesis of the beard. Pasta is pretty bad too. Pasta sauce.
Really just like messy stuff, you know. Here's another example on the Thrillist website. It's the corn on the cob.
I hate corn on the cob. I don't know why. I despise it. You could make it on the barbecue. You could boil it. You could do whatever you want to try and make your corn on the cob fancy. I don't know why. It ruins me.
You don't like a good Mexican elote?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No, but no. I'm assuming it's something related to corn on the cob.
It's basically a Mexican style corn on the cob, but it's really, really cool. But this is a great example. Corn on the cob, beard, no beard. You're making a crazy mess.
Yeah, you're making a mess. Yeah, you're making a mess. I would be more worried corn on the cob, and I think this is what drives me nuts. It's getting stuck in the teeth. I would be more concerned of corn on the cob getting stuck in the teeth more than I would be the beard. In fact, I would argue that corn is to teeth as dairy products are to beards.
Fair enough.
Take that and swirl it around for a little while in your brains.
Take that and eat it off a cob.
I think that's it. I think it's the fair to say, safest bet to say that beards and food that's the worst part about having a beard is food.
Which is really counterproductive to both of us.
Yeah, because we both have a lot to do with food, and we both love our beards. I'll never shave my face again because my face is so bad underneath this beard.
My girlfriend threatens me a lot about that. Like,
about shaving
God
your
forbid,
beard?
How dare you even think about shaving your beard?
And you and I both were very weird-looking people without our beards.
Barefaced Josh and Dave, not
bad
fun.
News.
Not fun
bad
to be around.
news.
Yeah, terrible humans. But anyways, the beard food and here's the deal. Just to sort of recap this, you're right about all the things you said, and I agree with it 90%. But like, if it's something easily edible with like a fork or a knife or something like that, or handheld like a churro, you're good with it. It's really just like messy handheld, like food like ribs, chicken wings, corn on the cob, stuff like that.
Yeah, like if I'm eating a steak with a steak knife and a fork, I'm good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
But if I'm having a hot dog or a burger, like ketchup, mustard, it's going in.
Yeah. I mean, and you also, if you have a well manicured mustache, you should probably be okay. I mean, let's not forget, Dave. Butter in the mustache is a
It's
thing.
one of the worst. It's one of the worst.
Yeah.
That brings us to our dumb food item of the day. And I kind of want to say that I think that this might be a smart food item of the day. I think it might be brilliant, in fact.
I just don't know how well it's going to work in practice, given the fact that we have tried to do things like this in the past. This
is a bag that turns your washing machine into a trendy cooking appliance. It makes your washing machine a sous vide.
And in the recent trend of sous vides being so popularized,
so hot right now,
and at one point being a very restaurant centric element to cooking, is now being sold. Like sous vide machines are being sold for like $100, whereas before they were like thousands of dollars. This company, which is called Sous La Vie,
which means under life,
has come out with a bag. It looks sort of like one of those wet, dry, wet.
I believe it's similar to Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex. Can't go wrong with Gore-Tex. And essentially, you pack this bag full of food. There's one for meat, there's one for fish, and there's one for veg.
And you throw it in the washer and the dryer, and it cooks.
You throw it in the washing machine. So it says here, in the sous vide, the food is cooked in a bath-like device at a temperature usually around 50 to 7 degrees Celsius. The same conditions can be found in a washing machine, providing it's hot.
You just have to set your washing machine to synthetics for a long period of time. And if you're trying to cook vegetables, you set it to cotton for a short duration.
Salad.
Steam your. So you and I can actually weigh in on this pretty well, Josh, because we attempted to cook. Spaghetti meatballs in a washer and dryer.
We did once,
and it's not that it didn't work.
It's just that it didn't work.
It's mostly that it didn't work. Yeah. But due to movie magic and the fact that it was a reality TV show, it worked. And if you watch the show, Epic Meal Empire, we did it. We made spaghetti and meatballs in the washer and the dryer. Now,
don't forget about
on paper, it always sounded like a really good idea. And it really was something that we had, even before the show, had been toying with for a long time that we wanted to make. Because the concept is hilarious. And you're like, yeah, why not? Why can't you boil the noodles
Why wouldn't it work?
In a hot washing machine? Why can't you heat the whole thing with the sauce in the dryer afterwards? You get a tumble dry, get a nice mix on those noodles. Unfortunately, it doesn't get hot enough to boil noodles for long enough. But that was also because we were just throwing noodles in a washing machine, and just setting it to go. If we were to have these satchels and we were able to have the temperature rise hot enough and let it go for long enough, seems like it'll work. And I think that's pretty cool.
Science says it'll work. Yeah, Dave, science says it will definitely work. I agree with that. We did, you break down cooking by very easily. It's like heat, food, combined, edible. So by using those equations, in theory, that would work.
In theory,
household appliances in a zombie apocalypse. Okay,
we did a lot of stuff. We made a fried egg on a hot iron, and we made a grilled cheese sandwich with an iron.
That's something already. But what about?
But I'm saying it works.
It works. Maker?
It's cool. It works. We made mac and cheese with a coffee maker, and that actually worked surprisingly well. So the idea of using your regular household appliances as cooking devices is not new. I guess it just begs the question: do you need to?
I think
like the answer is no.
I think you don't necessarily need to. You don't need to do it, but you do need to know how to do it.
Because you're saying because zombie apocalypse. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Like, yeah, I guess.
Do you know what I mean?
I guess.
Like, do you know how many things, Dave, that I just know how to do that no other person knows how to do, and
cooking-wise,
no one needs to know how to do?
Has very little practical application.
Yeah, but maybe one day. I don't know.
Maybe one day.
One day.
It's true. And it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
And maybe I kind of look forward to the day where we both need to put those resources to use. Yeah. But I just feel like today's not one of those days. I would never be like, you know what? I don't want to cook this. I don't know. What did they put in there? What were they putting in there? They're putting like steak or like a piece of fish. They cook this piece of fish
in the laundry machine.
I don't feel like putting it in the oven, so I'm just gonna cook it in the washer.
Yeah, or I
don't think I'll ever be in a position where I feel like that's my life. Like this is what I have to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, unless you have like an old washing machine you're about to throw out and your oven just went dead.
Yeah, you don't mind destroying, because that's what happened to the one that we tried to cook spaghetti and meatballs with. It never worked again. It was pretty funny though, but it never worked again. We got meatballs inside the mechanics of it. It's so stupid. So stupid. I guess good for you, Sous La Vie, for trying to capitalize on the popularity of sous vide these days. And I think it is a funny idea, and I hope you sell a whole bunch of your Gore-Tex satchels. I just can't help but believe that you're not going to.
Yeah, I concur with that one, Dave. But great thinking. Way to really put it out there.
Good on you guys.
Hell yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Menu Podcast. Oh boy, did I have a fun time, Josh.
Always, man. I'm loving this shit.
It was a good one, and we're going to do it every single week until we both can't talk about food anymore, which should be like well into our senior years where we are incapable of normal speech. But so that's a long ways away. That's a lot of episodes to come.
Yeah, once your twins are able to take over for us, that's when we'll stop.
Oh yeah, we could just give the podcast to them. That'll be we'll just let them host it.
And I can't wait for you to be like,
we'll make money off them. We'll exploit the kids. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
No. You don't exploit kids, Dave. You just make them work for you and benefit from it.
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah, of course.
Kidding, man. Kidding. But that was fun. That was good. Tune in if you're listening to this and or watching this. Tune in to the Menu Podcast every single week, where Dave and I talk about all food-worthy news and newsworthy food. And I just have a great time with you, Dave. I really do.
Remember, it's live at twitch.tv/liquorsauce, video on demand, youtube.com/thejoshelkin, soundcloud.com/the Menu Podcast for your ear holes. And just go ahead and Google the Menu Podcast if you want to listen to it on iTunes. Or no, go to the iTunes store and search for it under podcasts, and it's there. It's definitely there, I think.
It for sure is.
Anyways, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.